What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Brendan, aka Drip from Team D.D.D, back with another video. In today's video, we have a tier copium deck. For the people who've been part of the D.D.D fan for a while, they know I'm a Tearlaments simp, and I've been a Tearlaments simp since it got announced in the OCG. But yeah, I've been a Tearlaments simp since day zero. I decided to play this deck again because I feel like it has a decent matchup into this format. In the form of like Bestial's not really running around, even though they are kind of like hit and miss. They're not as dominant as they were like in prior formats, and it's good into Ryziel because of like how Ryziel likes to pop and stuff. So like all of our stuff gets like extra value when it gets popped and stuff. So I just feel like it has a very good Ryziel matchup, and with Ryziel at the current moment being like the #1 deck, most represented deck, I feel like this has a very good place in the format. And honestly, like playing this, it just like kind of felt like it revived me in Yu-Gi-Oh, because I've been kind of down in the slumps in the past couple of formats, because like nothing that I actually enjoyed playing was I felt like I actually enjoyed playing it. It was like I had bad matchups. So like I feel like at least when I played this here recently, the tier felt like it was like almost like old tier, in the form of like every time I did something, like I can play through so much and I can actually play the game, and it feels really good. But anyways, I got third place with this. I didn't buy the Fiendsmith stuff. I borrowed it, so shout outs to my my buddy Steele for allowing me to borrow it. I don't think anybody needs to be buying into this stuff right now. Stuff is ridiculously expensive, but I am not playing the horse cards. The horse cards are terrible in tier. I'm sorry, I don't like them. I don't care how many times people top with them. I don't like it. I really don't. The Fiendsmith stuff feels so much more like it pairs better with tier than horse does. And this was my first time actually like messing with and playing with the Fiendsmith cards, and like allowed me to get a new perspective on the cards, because like like I said, I never played with them, so like I didn't really know much about them, but they're really broken, and the engine slash deck needs touched. It really does need touched. It needs hit. It needs hit. But let's go ahead and get this. I got third place with this list. My only loss went x-1. The only loss I lost to was Gimmick Puppet FTK, and I'm playing a interaction based deck. I don't play hand traps, so what can you do? When you lose a die roll, you lose a die roll. But starting out, 3 Rhino Heart. It's standard. It's just 3 Rhino. 3 Tier Cash. 1 of each of the fusers. All this is standard. I'm gonna be doing this profiling engine based. So I'm gonna be just showing engines, and then like and utility cards that go with the engine or whatever, and then I'll show the generic cards at the end. And then 3 Planet. This card is nasty. I never really got to see this card. Last night I only got to see it a couple of times, but I wish I could get to my hand more, but it is what it is. I don't like playing the cash cards. I'm not playing the cash cards. You can if you want. I built this list to make it to where my mills are always live and my mills are always good. I would rather have my mills good than my hands good, because if my mills are good, then my hands are always good in my theory of crafting when it comes to it. So I'm not playing the set rotation. I'm not playing the cash plan, and I'm not playing Fenrir. Fenrir is just a neg 1, and it's feels more. It's like a worse neg 1, because even if you draw it, you summon it against Ryziel going second, they just pop it immediately, so you never even get to search tier cash. So, and on top of that, it's a terrible mill. So I don't like it. I don't like it. People always interact with Fenrir as soon as they see him on the board, anyways. So I don't run I don't run the Fenrir. More tier stuff. 3 Scream. I still think 3 is mandatory. I think double Grief is mandatory. Just the way in my play style. I like having one. I like milling one to get my traps back in rotation, because like it feels like a better version of the quick play spell. When you mill it to add back the trap from graveyard, this is just a better version of that because this is a E-Telly. And E-Telly was, the original E-Telly was put to 1 at one point on a ban list or whatever, banned for a reason. So, why not have an in-archetype one? So this is just better, my personal opinion. But yeah, then I got 2 Solic and then 1 Meta Noise. Meta Noise actually came up a couple of times last night to where I used it. I added this back and then used it to book a card. It was really good into the Rizio matchup. It was really, really nice. Sends 1 from deck, which is really nice too. I know people are on Crime. I'm not really on Crime right now. If Bystials were more dominant, I'd probably be playing Crime. But I'm not too worried about Bystials right now. And only time will tell. Then I guess you could say the last tier card is Trivia Karma. Self-explanatory, it's standard. Everybody probably saw that coming. Now for the Fiendsmith cards, we got 2 Engraver, 1 Lacrima, 1 Lurie, and then I'm on 2 Tracks. I know a lot of people run 1 Engraver. A lot of that I think is because they run the Horus package. I don't find that correct, and they also only run 1 track. I think this is the perfect ratio, personally, because sometimes the second Engraver comes up when you're trying to make rank 6 or you're trying to link climb. And then if you mill 1 track, then this whole entire engine's dead, and you're forced to burn a shuffler just to get this back in deck to make this engine live again. So I don't agree with that. And on top of that, this is a very good starter. So drawing this is not that big of a problem. So running in multiple copies is not that big of a problem. But also seeing this mid game too is really nice. That's another thing I like about this engine is it recycles itself very, very well, just like the tier cards do. And I always thrive and enjoy decks that do that. They are constantly recurring. They're constantly recycling themselves. That they just constantly keep playing. That's just my play style. And that's why I've always meshed so well with tier. And then another engine that I decided to go with is the Danger engine. Dangers are always going to be starters and extenders for you, as where the Horus cards will not. And they always do something for you. I'm on 3 Mothman. Nessie will always be a starter and extender and is an aqua and is a dark. Mothman will always be a starter and extender and a way to Mud Dragon. And it's a 4. So like these cards do a lot for you, and I think they're undervalued in my personal opinion. Definitely these in because they always replace themselves in sort of fashion as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I definitely like this a lot more than Horus. So that's just my personal opinion. And then my only non-engine that I decided to go with was 3 Gameciel. Gameciel is an aqua, and kaijus I think are undervalued in this format in my personal opinion, outside of just the obvious for the detonator. It's also really good into rogue decks. It's really good into Malice. If they end on a subpar board, you put this over top of the firewall or whatever, and if they ended on a subpar board, then they don't control link for Cyber, so it turns off their spell negate, so like it forces them to use their traps early if they have to. So this is just very good, and it being an aqua comes up a lot with your mills, so that's why I run it. And then I put 2 shufflers back in. I think my last list I was only running Kildo. These cards go freaking hard right now in almost like every rogue matchup, it feels like, and it also comes up a lot in your Fiendsmith decks, and everyone's running Fiendsmith right now, so like these into Fiendsmith is just GG. I had a situation where I played against Tenpai last night, and I just used this to shuffle all of his names back so he couldn't bring them back during the battle phase, and just allowed me to kill them next turn. And then the last 2 cards in the deck are 2 goods, which are 2 starters. I was running Card Destruction and 1 goods, but I decided to run 2 goods because I feel like it was more of a starter than bank on drawing a good 5 cards or it not being ashed. Clean 40. There's nothing I would change in the main deck. I really like this. I really like this list. It's really freaking good, and it's gassed out. So many different situations. I played through like anywhere from 3 to 7 interruptions and still was able to put up average board, which is what made me feel like I was playing prime tier, because back in the day we used to be able to play through so freaking much, so much. But yeah, this the Fiendsmith engine helps out a lot in the form of allowing you to play through stuff and bridge into other things. For the extra deck, we got one Requiem. This card is really good, for obvious reasons. I know like some of the things I'm saying is like probably comes to no shocker to you guys, but like I said, this is my first real time messing with this engine, so like it's like you're getting like a raw like thought on it. I feel like this card is a problem. I feel like this card, in a way, is more of an issue than the Little Goddess. But I feel like also, in a way, if you hit this card, you kind of kill the entire engine. And, like, makes it to become more of a fiend deck in the form of relying on sequence, which I guess makes sense. But I feel like something's got to happen, whether this has got to go or Engraver's got to go to 1. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And then, speaking of sequence, I'm playing one sequence. This card never resolved for me last night. It felt like more of a bridge to get me into this card instead, which was Sprint. Being able to help me get my tier cards going, because this sequence just never resolved. But it makes sense why it never resolved, but it's fine. We didn't need it resolved. It would have been nice to have it resolved, but it just never did. Sprint is nasty. People still have to read this card after all this time. One Moon Heaven. This card's really nice. Obvious reasons. It bridges. Yeah. One Little Knight. Obvious reasons. It just denies board presence and dodges targeting effects. For the fusions, we got one Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart's obvious. One Necroquip, because it comes up from time to time to play the Necroquip. Necroquip's really good too, because if some situations, depending on your hand, you can make her early and then get a draw because of whether it's Sheeran or something like that. If you have her up beforehand to be able to get a draw off of her effect, it's really cool. More fusions. We got the Garua, obvious reasons. Mud Dragon, obvious reasons. Dragos Topeli, I think, really goes freaking hard this format and is very underrated. Definitely into like Ryzeo, even if some of their stuff sends for cost or whatever, and being able to make them a level 1 makes them to where they can't like overlay. It's really nice. Yeah, it kind of feels like you're getting less value out of it, but at the end of the day, like if you time it properly, then like you're still getting a decent amount of value out of it because they can't overlay. So like if they go duo drive before detonator, you can in a way potentially prohibit them from going into detonator. And then the last fusion is Desiree. I never got to make it, but it's really nasty being able to make multiple negates off of one card. For the XEs, got the Bahamut Shark paired with the totally awesome standard package, been that way forever. And then the card that bridges everything together is Pilgrim Reaper, if you didn't see this coming. This card's really nasty. Some of these situations where I just went into this before I even committed anything just to bait hand traps. Like I'd go Fiendsmith combo first and bait all the interruptions and hand traps. And then if I made this, if it resolved, then I was just winning anyways. But if it didn't resolve, then I'd just use the tier cards I had in hand, because you get so much value off the Fiendsmith cards off of 1 to 2 cards, and you don't have to commit the rest of your gas, which is mainly tier cards. And when you do, then you're just milling anyways, and you can potentially get your Fiendsmith engine back in rotation with like if you mill like an Engraver or multiple Fiends, just shuffle them back to summon back and then link climb into Sprint or whatever. So you can just eat through so much, and the Fiendsmith cards help you eat interruptions, because when people see that, they're forced to interact with it, because if they don't, then you're going to be so far ahead it doesn't matter. And then the last card of the deck is the absolute MVP, and it comes to no shocker because everyone's on this card now, and that is the New Era Baron, Chaos Angel. This card is a problem. I wish I had room for the Big Goddess, because everyone's on this card, and but I'm not that worried about it because I can just pop theirs with with our tier planet, so I'm not too worried about it. It was more so cope than anything. It's kind of like Tom Thief Redoer. I was coping on that, and I was running it at first over SP Little Knight. but I'm not. I decided to cut Time Thief for the Little Knight, because sometimes like my board would get clogged post turn 1, and I needed to make more room to be able to push for a game. I know that sounds weird, but yeah. But no, Chaos Angel's nasty. Definitely if you get this on board with Kaleido Heart plus the rest of your tier setup, you're just not losing that game. And it's just too much going on for your opponent to deal with. There are several situations last night where, one in particular, I was playing against Ryziel, and I played through like 5 interruptions, 6 interruptions or more, and I still ended with Chaos Angel, Kaleido Heart, Tier Planet with Solic. After breaking his entire board. I broke his entire board. And he had Detonator, Duo Drive, I think it was just a random card like Node, Trap with the Field Spell. So he had a pop, he had pop, triple pop, negate, monster negate with Field Spell, and he had a Veiler in hand. And I ate through all of it and broke his board, and then still ended, like I said, with Chaos Angel and Kaleido Heart. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck. Onto the side. The side I think is just very generic in form of like playing against like meta decks. 3 Fawalos, 3 Thanos, aka Phantasme. Draw cards, draw to get into your engine. This is because everyone's on like Malice and Fiendsmith and anything Fiendsmith, mainly Fiendsmith. Fawalos is just generic. It forces people to play into it, or it basically becomes a turn skip if not. And then I wanted more like this is potentially win more, because it's a going first card, and our deck is inherently really good going first. I just wanted this just for a win more against Ryziel and everything really. As deck lockdown, I never seen it. I didn't draw it at all last night, but in theory, it's really busted for obvious reasons. This card needs to be banned. 3 Ulti Slayer, because why not? And then I am on 2 Bestials, even though I said they're not really ran. Mainly because they're 6s and they put bodies on board, so they force interaction. Is why I mainly play them. Outside of them being 6s to overlay to make Pilgrim Reaper or make it easier to turbo out Chaos Angel. And then the last card in the deck is Scattershot. Shouts to Steel for the heavily damaged Scattershot. My boy can I can afford Fawalos, but I can't afford a non-heavy damaged Scattershot. Big meme energy. But yeah, this because I go obvious reasons. I go into time all the time, never fails, and always lose the time, and I'm sick and tired of losing the time, so not losing the time. Luckily, none of my games went to time last night, so I was very fortunate. They almost did, because people struggle to come to realization that they don't have a main deck out to Chaos Angel, so they just want to stare at their cards. Happened to me several times last night, which I get it, but like at the end of the day, if you lose, you lose. Like, I don't know. I guess that's just where I'm different. If I know I lost, I just chalk it up. But that's it for the main extra inside. Clean 40, clean 15, and 15. Like I said, the only thing I would potentially change in my side maybe is maybe if I own them, the Bestials, the 2 Bestials would probably be I'd run 2 Perulia for the Ryziel matchup, because the Perulia is like really good into Ryziel. It's like the only like deck that, in my opinion, you get the most value out of, and every time I do anything, I like to have the most value I can out of my my cards. Other than that, if you own the Perulias, then make these 2 Perulia, because it's really nice too, because Perulia is an aqua. So if you wanted to run 3, you could just cut something else down out of here, cut the deck lock down to 2 or whatever, or cut it out completely and run 3 Perulia and 3 Fawalos, and you have 6 draw cards, and then 9 draw cards if you keep the Phantasme, which is inherently not that bad against a lot of decks. But yeah, that's it for the main extra inside. Like I said, I went x-1. It was really refreshing to play tier again. I thoroughly enjoy and love the deck. It'll be nice to have Kit back. We'll get her back one day. But when we do, the deck will probably change drastically. The deck will change drastically anyways, probably post-ban list, because like I said, there's no freaking way Fiendsmith lives. That you get too much value off of one card's, or just one card, individual card, and it's just insane. Whether it's tracked or it's engraver, you just get way too much value, and the fact that one little engine can eat so much interruption, it's insane. But yeah, this is what I've been having fun with here recently. Literally just threw this list together like 2 hours before locals, and I ended up doing very, very well with it. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you are not already, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Check the description for all the ways to support me, my Patreon, my Discord, my merch store, my TCG affiliate link. Every single thing is down there, and I appreciate you guys so much for even making it this far, or even just watching this video all the way through. But it's your boy Brandon, aka Drip from Team D.D. Signing out till next time. Peace. Good doing, my guys. Love you.